Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I almost said hello, Spider Friends, because every time we record, we're here.
Yeah.
That
association.
Welcome to the 134th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I am the very tired, newly crowned Travis. What the fuck?
Newly
crowned dad of, I'm very proud if people follow the show.
You are the new Bat Dad.
Yeah. I got to shout out Taylor and Dylan's review, Planet Apes. They did that. I was not there because... gave birth, I didn't, but personally, but my loved one gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Gwen Summer Snail. So if you're a long-time listener, I know I told that a couple weeks ago, so she's healthy, very little. But before Dylan goes, I gotta give them a shout out because they've been very flexible. Dylan was very flexible today. I had to be like, I don't know what's happening, I don't know when we're leaving the hospital. And then you guys took the reins for the Apes review, so thank you very much.
It's the least I can do, really.
Yeah, well, for me, that's just such a worry. I'm a planner. Once I see you guys are doing these reviews, I'm like, I got nothing to worry about. So when I'm gone week, you guys are in great hands. And you're in great hands with...
the Adam Hart caster, Dylan Moss.
Boom. So there we go. So
beautiful.
What we're going to do, as you can see, small house today. It's just Dylan and myself. People are busy. It's funny. Usually we have 7 people in the cast, but like one's maybe dead, traveling the world, and Kyle. Yeah. Kirkland, Saturday.
Very elusive. Very
and Saturdays he has told us before is the day with his like loved one. Like that's the day they get off together. So it's like okay. Yeah. Tyler works on the weekend. Jessica has like a foreign exchange student or something now living in her house.
For a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Taylor.
You never know with Taylor.
No, you never know.
Yeah.
If one day it comes out he's like Dexter Morgan, like I would never be surprised.
Well. Like, honestly, it could be, because the night I went to see Planet Apes on Thursday, but they saw it Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And so, the plan was that after I was done the movie, they would come over and do the review. And then Taylor's like, I'm doing something. I might be done by 10, but I'm not quite sure. It's like, that is definitely a murder. Like,
well, that's like the same excuses I feel like Dexter would give. Like, I don't know if I can make, like, I'll be...
Because he doesn't give you a reason.
Yeah, and then he just calls Deb, like, watch the baby. I'll be gone for a while. And he's just like, something happened. But if you haven't guessed by the title of this podcast, because our nicknames, usually we do nicknames for it, but we haven't done any.
No.
Nicknames concerning D-23 Disney. We're going to do a little episode because next week we got Dunkirk and Comic-Con. Yeah. I say, Dylan, we may talk about this stuff again in the future with some other casties, but we wanted to cover some of this news. So, and to start off with, it's like, it's still like a weird type of convention. Like, we were talking about how the news goes. Like, they have their panels, but I found like a lot of news just drops or it's interviews because it's like a newer convention.
For me personally, like, I don't follow a ton of like entertainment people on Twitter. And so, like, I was Googling, like, D23 announcements and stuff like that. And, like, the only thing that would pop up is, announcements about the amusement park that they announced. Like, I couldn't... And you gave me a list of all the stuff, and I was like, I did not see any of that when I Googled to find it. Like, it's really just strange.
Yeah. Well, I think because most of the stuff, like, that Disney park, like, the stuff that pops up is the stuff they show, because I was saying this, they don't show that much, to be honest. Right. Right now, they're really kind of... the panels and everything are really just for the press and like the members of these D23 conventions, wherever they are. Like, it's not like this year I think they just streamed, and I missed it, but they streamed like a portion of their games panel. Right. But even then, like, I looked at the news, not too much happened.
And some of it is like little tidbits that drop in intervieus.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that, which I realized there was one trailer I didn't watch, so you're gonna have to do all the talking about. So I'll
that will probably be brief.
Okay, good. So
I did watch it.
Let's start. We have no teaser footage. This is what would we call? What is that when you put a title and you're trying to get hits, but you don't know? Yeah, there's no clickbait. We have not seen the Infinity War teaser. We weren't there.
We're a couple of chumps in Kelowna, BC.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna talk about like a little bit of like what was described. We did this a couple of years ago with Civil War when they like released like who's on what team, and, right? Because that's when we learned like Ant-Man's there and Scarlet Witch is there.
Was that like a scene described? Is that
it was the same thing. Okay. It was like
I want to go back and listen to what that was and see like how it related to the actual trailer.
It was like one of our first weeks on, or no, not weeks, but one of our first months is like,
really?
Because this was July, right? And we started around July, so
true.
It was like one of our first like big things. So I gotta pull up.
It's for Infinity War, by the way.
Yeah, I sent you the photo. So, well, let's go with you from just the little bit that you read so far, just the Infinity War. So the crowd got a teaser. I think they've said it was like a minute to a minute 30, and then a bunch of people release script breakdowns and everything. No leaked of footage. I've been waiting all day. Some people at Comic-Con, they're like, why would you watch leaked footage? If it's there, I'm gonna watch. That happened with Deadpool, when the Deadpool trailer leaked a few years ago. People were like, how dare you watch on YouTube? Like, that's just an assault. It's like, I'm gonna watch it if I can get my grubby eyes on it. So
it's not there for long, you know.
No, so
sometimes like less than an hour.
Yeah, so I have the breakdown.
The transcript.
Yeah, I do. You want me to go through?
Yeah, go through the transcript first.
Okay, so so it started with the very first footage was just the Guardians, because what they did is they did this tricky thing where they showed like the past 10 years. They showed like a reel of all the old movies, and apparently without even transitioning, they just showed like the Guardians in a spaceship, and that's when people started to catch on because they're like, this is not something we've seen, like this is not from the movies. So it's them driving. They have a little dialogue. I'm not going to go over all the dialogue because you can look at all the breakdowns, and they're driving, and apparently the trailer started off with Thor just crashing on their ship. And then he's an unconscious man, just wakes him up, and they have this dialogue back and forth. And then these are just quick, like, the, like, most notable rapid fires of what happened. Mantis wakes him up. Who the hell are you guys? Thor asks, which makes sense. We'll get into this later. Loki presenting Thanos with the Tesseract. Big deal. Spider-Man is on a school bus. The reason, this is really bad, because the reason it says Spider-Man on a school bus, the actual reason is he has Spidey sense in this scene, apparently. So what happens is he's going to school or something. And when something's about to happen in New York, the arms on his hair stand up for like Spidey.
Arms on his hair, yeah.
Oh fuck! I am tired, so we're gonna preference that. I've been up not much sleep, but so we'll get into that after. But yeah, so that was one.
Right.
Lots of like dialogue with Thanos. Apparently, like the trailer seemed. Everyone's saying it's very Thanos heavy, so he said stuff like death follows him like a shadow, and fun isn't something you should consider when trying to balance the universe. But this does put a smile on my face. Don't know if I like that line, but we'll get into that in a second. We see the
you gotta see them saying it.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly it. We see the Collector's lair destroyed. Gamora's crying. We see lots and lots of Avengers fighting Thanos. Apparently there's a big shot of like Iron Man looking like very afraid. Spider-Man. Spoilers if you haven't seen Homecoming. He's in the suit from the end of Homecoming in this trailer. Suit, yeah, and then apparently same thing. Doctor Strange was there. Guardians, Iron Man, they're all together. And then apparently this trailer ended with them. Two things. One, Iron Man was holding Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was saying that he was sorry, Tony. He was on the ground crying. They're on the separate planet, and apparently with the gauntlet, Thanos took a moon and threw it at them, and that's how the trailer ended. He literally threw a moon at the Avengers. Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's pretty... I didn't see that part of it.
No, because this one says a giant battle with Thanos that he uses landscape. But, like, everyone that... Because I watched some trailer reaction video there said, like, they threw a moon at him. So... Wow. Yeah, so what do you think? That's a lot to digest.
Yeah, well, when I was reading that, it just... it seemed like some sort of, like, fan... fanfic thing. And, but obviously it's real, and that's so exciting. Like, It feels like it's always been so far away, and since Civil War and stuff like that. But I mean, the fact that there's actually a trailer out there that exists, and we might see it in the next week, like that's super exciting. I can't wait to see all these people together, and that's not even all the squad. Like there's a bunch of other people too that aren't in this trailer, so. Well, I can't wait.
Well, that's the thing when you say it's so far away. Like, really, since the first Avengers, when Thanos like popped his head out, that's 2012.
It's been a lot of build-up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and especially because like I remember when I walked that theater, I'm like, oh, he's for sure gonna be the villain for Avengers 2, and they said, oh no, we're going this way. So it's like, I think they've done a good job building up. And before we go like over some of these points, I think the biggest thing that I heard about everyone talking about that it really felt like Thanos was a huge part in that trailer, and I think with 2012 next year will be 2018, so 6 years of build-up. I think with that amount of build-up of introducing him once in a post-credit scene, we saw him in Guardians, and he's always been looming over these movies, and you see little clips. I think you kind of have to knock him out of the park. Like, I think we talk about with Spider-Man, we really like Vulture, but it's like, if Vulture wasn't that good, we would have been like, oh, that really sucks, but oh well, just another villain. I think this is a villain they can't let be mediocre. They can't let people walking out being like, that was kind of meh. That's the biggest thing I see from these and many other reports, that it felt like he's narrating the thing. There's apparently, like, the scenes of him fighting Avengers are not really him fighting them. Apparently it's just more like him just destroying. Like, there's a scene where he beats up Spider-Man, beats up Starlord, beats up Doctor Strange. So I think it's a good idea of them really emphasizing that he is, like, he's the bee's knees, and he's here because if he's weak and this, like, next year will be 10 years since Iron Man came out. If it's 10 years of build-up for this, like, I don't know, far-in-the-wind villain, people will kind of tear them apart for that,
Well, I mean, like, individually, he can... I guess, is there any individual character, like Thor or something, that can even stand
I don't think so. I think that's why they got a team. Well, I think the thing is, you could maybe beat Thanos, but it's once he has the gauntlet, right? Once he has all those gems. I think that's the thing where it's like, he already is, like, his nickname is the Mad Titan. Like, he's already... a force to be reckoned with. But with this, like, he can throw a moon at you. It's like, and that's what I mean, like, that just sounds so crazy. I was the same thing when you, like, I knew it wasn't fake because I was following someone that was sitting there, but when I saw that, I'm like, really? Like, it feels so, like, comic booky, like, almost like Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Well, because
like,
up until this point, like, other than Guardians, we've always been on Earth.
Yeah,
right?
And then I guess Doctor Strange a little bit,
goes into some other dimensions, I guess. But
I'd say 75%.
Yeah, like, most of these characters have only just been, like, in New York most of the time, right? So, just the fact that, like, you know, Spider-Man, like, Peter Parker and Tony Stark, yeah, they're going to be on some other planet. Well, they can't be on the moon.
Right.
Because the moon gets thrown out.
It doesn't say the moon, it just says a moon.
Right.
So they're playing it safe. They don't want to take...
Yeah, they're really far away. Who knows where they are?
Well, because apparently there is a scene where they show, like, Thanos, he can, like, warp into different dimensions and stuff like that.
Why
so,
not?
yeah, of course. So I think that's a big thing, too. Like, not only do we get to see them all eventually team up, we, like you said, we get to see a Spider-Man, like, doing stuff. Like, apparently there's this cool scene where Starlord has to get from, like, one place to another, so Doctor Strange is just, like, throwing these, like, discs out, and Starlord's, like,
platforms,
and he's, like, jumping on them, so that's what I mean, like, it feels so, like, comic booky and video gamey from the description, and that's what I love, like, that's what everyone's been saying, is, like, whatever you thought, like, you're gonna get that, and I think they do, like, they really have to deliver with the movie. That's gonna be kind of two-parters, it's gonna be huge. Apparently, like, the budget was, like, $1 billion, so...
Yeah, I was thinking, like, is this going to be, like, the most expensive movie
I think so, because not even effects-wise, I just think with paying everybody.
Yeah,
you know?
the actors is a huge part of it, for sure.
So there's, like, just a few little points I want to go down. One that I'm mad about, but I'm happy about at the same time. So, Loki was in this trailer.
Right.
I feel like that kind of gives away that he's making it out of Thor Ragnarok now, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Because at this point, where is he in the storyline? Like, before Thor?
Well, again, because you haven't seen Thor. He was in a place that was...
Yeah, I haven't seen the second Thor yet.
He was in hiding, I'll say that. He was in a place where not everyone knew where he was, and he was not a threat anymore.
Okay.
So that's what I'll say. So it was a thing, and that's where Thor 3, obviously, he was going to be around. He's in the movie. But that's my thing of... I kind of like that, one, I would have liked not to know that, but two, I like that he's alive. I like that he's going to be in this movie, because, like we were talking about with Avengers, I feel like just like any of these other characters, I think he's just as important to the story as the rest of them, because, like, he was the villain in Avengers, he was working with Thanos, like, had the Tesseract, like, I think he's played just as big a role as they have in the story, and I think if he wasn't in it, it would feel kind of empty, so even though it was spoiled, I'm still fine with him being, like, I'd rather be spoiled and know he's in there than kind of, like, if he was in the movie, I think it would be kind of strange.
And so do you think he'll, like, join up with the Avengers at all, or is he strictly going to be a bad guy?
I think there's a very good chance he's one of the people in the top 5 is going to die, and I think this could be the movie where he does the Vader, throws Emperor off the, like, platform. Okay, I think he may say, like, redeem himself. Right. Because even in Avengers, they kind of hinted that at the very end, at one point when he's destroying the city, Thor says, "Oh, look at what you've done. Did you really want this?" And he looks around and he's kind of questioning it. So I think they've planted the seeds for one day he's going to turn, but I think that's going to cost. Yeah. And it'll probably be something like he'll save Thor, and then they'll have that brother moment, and I'm going to cry, like, big time, because, like, I love Loki. He's the best villain. So I think no matter what, he's going to play a big role. Because obviously if he has the Tesseract, which is the cube, I think he'll have a big role. And I think I'm happy about that.
Yeah, me too. I've always, you know, obviously Marvel's villains are kind of hit or miss, I guess, and he's definitely one of the better ones. So, I still gotta watch Thor 2 to really see what's going on with the storyline. I don't really know, but I mean, Thor Ragnarok,
we're gonna do something for
looks
that.
really good as well. So,
what was I gonna say? How do you feel? Because this has been a big contention in Civil War. They showed it, and clearly Infinity War it's gonna be there. How do you feel about the lack of Spidey sense being in Homecoming? But it seems like in his crossovers that he has, because in Civil War they did this thing where Bucky at one point threw something at him, and right before him he's like, "What's that?" And he looked and he ducked, and clearly with the
was that like a Spidey sense?
Yeah. If you watch in the airport scene, he has a moment where he's like, "Oh, what is that?" And then he looks, and then he like knew it was coming before it was coming. Right. So, and then the thing with his
we don't really get that in Homecoming at all. No. Well, maybe it could be something tied to the new suit, right? It could be something tied to his Avengers suit and...
Actually, I don't think so, because if he's on the school bus, I don't think he's gone to that point yet. Right. So I think for me, if this happens, I think in Homecoming 2 they need to do that a bit more. They need to show that he has... Like, technically he always has it, because anytime he dodges something, that's Spidey sense. But, like, just stuff like the hair on his arms raising, got it right this time. Nice. I think that's a good song. Like, I think that's something just fun, because... Toby they did like swooshing sound effects. What did they do for Garfield again? For Spidey scenes?
I can't remember.
That wasn't that memorable then. I'm trying to think. Man, I don't actually remember. Well, we just watched that.
Because, I mean, obviously it's a lot different than, like, the animated show or...
when he gets the flashes.
I imagine the comics when it's, like, really obvious when it's happening. Whereas in the movies, like, I didn't even pick up on that in Civil War. I didn't even realize that. Mm-hmm. And now that I didn't think about it at the time, but now that I think about it, I can't think of a moment in Homecoming when he has a Spidey sense. There might be, like, a little moment if you really pay attention.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to watch it again and look out for it, particularly.
In the comics, what happens is, while he's Peter or Spider-Man, the mask goes half and half. Because obviously you can't use sound, so it's half and half, so...
Interesting.
I don't know if there's anything more to really talk about. They said Hulkbuster suit's coming back from Avengers 2, the one Iron Man used to take on the Hulk. So, I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
like the beautiful one. So, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about, because I sent you the article as well, a big thing, it was kind of rumored, but like confirmed, is this group called the Black Order. Yeah. And they're a bunch of Thanos' lackeys, and if you haven't read... Just go on the internet and search the Black Order. They are just there's 5 of them, but I think there's only 4 in this movie, and they're have all these like different sort of powers. They've been with Thanos a few times. They were introduced only a few years ago. So if you are in the comic, it came out in 2013. Before you go, I think the reason I like it is because it's not Ultron and it's not Avengers, where it's like a bunch of like. Robots fighting them, a bunch of Chitauri.
A bunch of, like, faceless creatures,
Yeah, like, I think the best thing about this is if they give them... I think they'll all have, like, a little personality they do in the comics. I think that's better of having just this team of 5 that are really strong than Thanos with, it's a bunch of aliens fighting them. So that's one thing that I think people have complained about, and when I saw that, it was rumored, but when it was confirmed, I was really happy about that. Because... Like, we talk about this, too, like, with Spider-Man and Shocker, that we didn't love him as a henchman, but I think those henchman roles are needed. Like, that's a big thing in James Bond movies. Like, make a charismatic, kind of one-note fun henchman.
You don't need them to be, like, a character with any depth. Yeah. They can be, like, one-dimensional. They can be just a straight-up bad guy who just works for, the big boss and, like, doesn't really need to have, a great backstory. You can do it later, but it's just better than, just having, like... I mean, it is always nice to see, the heroes, like, beating up a bunch of bad guys at once, but I feel like we've done that enough, I guess, in the Marvel movies.
Well, and I think for this has to be different, right? Like, I'm not opposed to, at one point in the movie if they fight a bunch of faceless army people, but I like that there will be sort of an anti-Avengers team. Like, I think for the finale, you need these people, so I thought people...
And I really like the look.
They're really characters. Cool. Like, Anthony Maul is one of my favorites.
I don't know of them from the comics, but just looking at them and reading the little like blurb descriptions they have of them, I mean, there's one kind of like big guy who might contend with Hulk. Yeah. And there's the one like mastermind sort of guy, and then the other 2 look like more jack of all trades sort of characters. But yeah, I really like their look, and I mean the statues that they showed. I imagine that those are the kind of models they're going to be using for the movies as opposed to the comics. Yeah, they look a little different than the comics, but they look pretty similar. Like I feel like they would be recognizable. Yeah. If you read them in the comics.
Well, yeah, like some of them, like I recognize, like Midnight and like Ebony and Maw. Like there were some that like I really like, and because I only read this comic series once. It came out in like the ones they just introduced, like I said, only 4 years ago. So, but it's just they've always been known like the Black Order. It's like, these guys are a bunch of kind of dangerous foes. So I like that. I'm happy they're there. I think it'll add to the movie.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of them, right?
Yeah.
And I guess they aren't in the trailer. In this little
I don't think so. I don't think people talked about that. It was all just Thanos, so I think they could be around. Because there's already been things of, like, Doctor Strange fighting people in mocap suits. So, like, on people snapping set photos. So that's where, obviously, people have, like, kind of said, okay, these are going to be these people. So, hopefully that Andy Serkis...
We don't know... Yeah, so we don't know who any actors are who are playing
I think they're all kind of just, like... I don't think they're any one of name recognition. I think they're like Andy Serkis in Lord of the Rings, where they're just starting out. Maybe there's nobody. Maybe they'll announce. You never know. Maybe there'll be somebody like but I don't think they'll have.
They'll probably all die. So it's like
I don't think I think they'll have like a talking scene of one time when him and Thanos, like them and Thanos have like a meeting of sorts. But I don't think they're gonna be like given a bunch of dialogue and
there's enough characters already.
Yeah, we have.
You don't have time to flesh out these guys. They may look cool, but they have another time if they want.
The last note on the Marvel news was, so this has been talked about a lot back and forth, but today it was really hit over the head. Mark Ruffalo, who plays the Hulk, he was asked to interview, so when are we going to get a solo Hulk movie? very adamant that it's never going to happen. Because so people that don't know, way long ago, the very first Hulk movie and Iron Man movie were not in the Marvel Studios. They were just produced, kind of like what they do with Spider-Man. And then at one point Disney bought them and they got them all.
Yeah.
But with Hulk, there's still this rights issue where Hulk can appear in team-up movies, but he can't have a solo movie unless them and Universal work together.
So we already knew that, though, right?
We kind of did, but this was like the full-on like
confirmation.
Yeah, it's always been like this is the reason why. It's always been speculated and like a lot of backing it up, but no one ever went out. It was always like, oh, we don't have plans. Where it kind of felt like to me that maybe he just didn't want to be asked a question anymore and gave the defendant like. Because they even said, like, I don't know why those... Like, I don't think he called them dumb, but he said, like, they're not smart people over there. Like, they could make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, he was just blunt about it.
Yeah.
So what do you think about...
He's got a little bit of Hulk rage deep inside.
Just busts out. So what do you think about that? Are you fine with this? Like, are you fine with Hulk appearing in Thor and Avengers? Or is the sole Hulk something
I kind of have to be, right? Like...
True. But, I mean, like, is this something
I would love to see a Hulk movie for sure, but... I mean, obviously, Kevin Feige, he had the statement that, like... You know, never say never, right? Yeah. And he said that they aren't planning it. He could be lying about that, but I feel like if he hasn't been planning it, then even if they did get the rights, it wouldn't be for a while because everything just seems to be slotted so perfectly in the timeline. Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, and, you know, maybe one day we'll get it for sure, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be coming in the next, like, 3 or 4 years even, so, I don't know, I mean... It's disappointing, but that's just kind of the way it is, right? Yeah, no, I'm the same where I would like to see one, but at the same time, I'm completely fine if he's just a side character, because I think so far, unless I have a really great story, I think that's when he's worked the best. I think in the Avengers movies he was great. In Thor Ragnarok, it looks like it's it seems like he'll have more... I mean, I guess the only scene we really see of him is, like, in that arena. Yeah. But...
I think they're downplaying that to not.
I would like to see, you know, more emphasis on him. And just get to know him a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah, so. I'm going to go to this one because I was supposed to watch trailer before the cast. I completely forgot, did not. I'm going to watch it right after and I'll talk about it another time. So, A Wrinkle in Time. Apparently, it's a very, very popular book series. Yeah.
Not popular for me to hear about it.
True. But it's something that Disney announced a couple of years ago and people were really excited. The director, Ava DuVernay, Ava DuVernay
because it rhymes.
Yeah, sure. Ava DuVernay. She directed like Academy Award film and this and that. She was in talks for Black Panther, so she's somebody that's kind of an upcoming.
Been around the block.
Yeah, big time director. So same thing as Dylan because I'm gonna let Dylan go because I've not seen the trailer. No idea about the book. The cast looks great. You got Oprah and Reese Witherspoon and Chris Pine. Like, it looks really good. I'm going to watch it right after. But even when I watch it, even if I think I really like the trailer, I don't think it's something that's going to be, oh, I cannot wait to see this because I have no connection to the book. It's a movie for me, unless this trailer is like Logan, Star Wars, Force Awakens good, I'll see it when people tell me how it is. Yeah. So, from someone that saw the trailer, what did you think about it?
Well, it kind of seemed like they set up like the pretty classic storyline of like...
Yeah, tell me, because I don't even know what it is.
Well, it's like... I mean, I don't know like any of the characters or in the world, but it was the classic, like, you know, this world needs someone to save it, and that person is you, and then it's...
Narnia.
I can't tell if it was like the way they were trying to set up the trailer, but I think it's like a young girl, like maybe like 12, 13 years old or something like that, and she's the one who has to save the world. And I can't even remember if she had a scene where she had like any words. Like, she was kind of, it was more just like a bunch of different shots, and like you could see Oprah like doing some crazy summoning magic.
I saw her like golden eyebrows.
Yeah. The costumes are pretty cool. I mean, I don't really. I'm curious to see more of it because I don't really know like what the story is. It seemed like a pretty classic like hero tale, but I don't know. I guess like what themes it's gonna try to strike for. But there was a couple really cool scenes in there. Like, there's this one scene where the main female and then her friend or brother or whatever are like walking into this like cul-de-sac, and it's like this really creepy scene. It's like a suburban neighborhood.
I heard it was creepy.
And like there's like a bunch of kids like just bouncing a basketball in place, and then like all of their mothers walk out at the same time and say like, "It's time for dinner, honey." Like, it was really weird, but I liked it. It was I feel like I haven't seen a scene like that before. It was like creepy. Right? I don't know.
I'm excited to watch it now. That's what I heard, and that's why that's what I liked about the OG Pirates that Disney did. That I always thought there was this sense of like there was a creepy, like very light kid horror, like a Goosebumps, like that, and I like that, like a very light, like
I did get the feeling that like most of the movie would be like that, but it kind of seems like it's like some sort of time travel movie where they're jumping around from place to place.
Well,
time
A Wrinkle in Time.
Exactly, and so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it, like there was a bunch of just random little scenes like that might seem maybe a little off-putting, but I guess it's all for the sake of the movie. I don't know. I got to see more of it, really.
But it like interests you at least from what you saw?
Yeah. I mean, enough. I guess it was a good trailer. I'd say.
How long was it?
It was like 2 minutes or something.
Okay.
A minute and a half, 2 minutes. It said it was a teaser, but it was.
That's why I asked,
a regular trailer.
because I swear I saw a longer runtime, but I saw a teaser and I was like, oh, but
I don't know, like. I don't know how this would be a teaser, and like it makes no sense. It's a trailer.
5 minutes.
It's a trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
well, no, you've got me excited to watch it because I know nothing, but it sounds like something I might check out. I don't know if it's a day one thing, but we'll find out. So,
and wait, does that have like any sort of date attached to it?
I think it's coming out next year, and I think it's like somewhere near December or something like that. Like I think it's
a while yet.
I think it's still a little walls off. I could be wrong about December, but it's definitely next year. It's not this year or anything. So next story, Star Wars did not, which is funny because I'm wearing a Han Solo shirt. You're wearing a Star Wars shirt.
And I have my Star Wars key.
Oh, nice! Who you got on there? You got Chewie, and you got is that Han there?
Yeah, that's Han.
Okay, well, I don't think they did the greatest Harrison Ford skull.
You know, it's from a Kinder Surprise, so you can't really complain that much.
Fair enough. So
he's got his little Millennium Falcon there.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
So we're both wearing Star Wars shirt. Did not have a big presence this year. The rumor was there was supposed to be a lot of Han Solo stuff. Yeah, Han Solo stuff. A lot of controversy there. They didn't even talk about it at all. So
true.
That's
coming out like next year.
May.
In May. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I think it's gonna get delayed.
I think so. They should play it safe. But they did show their kind of classic since they came back a few years ago. We got one with Force Awakens and we got one with Rogue One. They like to do this behind the scenes thing where I think it's better than most people's behind the scenes because they do behind the scenes, but then they'll like splice in new footage and they'll talk about like the movie. What do you think about this? Because one, where is your excitement after this? And what did you just think about this behind the scenes kind of look?
I kind of like the behind the scenes. I don't watch a ton of like extras and stuff like that off of like movies. So
I don't buy them enough anymore to know.
Exactly. Like I just don't buy movies these days. So it was kind of nice to see, you know, all the behind the scenes stuff. And obviously it's like with Star Wars, it's such a big, I don't know what word to use. It's just, it's such a big, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just such a show, I guess.
Story, yeah. Spectacle?
Sure. We'll go with spectacle. There's a perfect word, but I just can't think of it.
One day.
But anyway.
Last Jedi review. You got till December, then you'll have it.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll have it by then, hopefully.
Clock's ticking down.
By that time, I'll finish the whole dictionary, and it will be on the last page. So, anyway. No, I would say I'm like fairly excited for the new one.
Because you've gone back and forth with Force Awakens, right? You really enjoyed it the first time, then you said the last time you watched it, not as fan.
Yeah, I think Star Wars in general, like it's like decent to good. Like I think it is kind of overrated. Like I'm wearing a shirt and stuff like that, but
and 2 keychains, not 1, 2 keychains.
But I don't think it's like the greatest, you know, franchise of all time. So I don't know. The Force Awakens, like when we saw it opening night, all the hype behind it and the fact that we'd been talking about it for months and all this, I really enjoyed it. And the story, like from the trailers, we didn't really know exactly what path the story was going to take.
And that's refreshing today in age when we know almost everything sometimes.
So but Rogue One was like quite disappointing. I didn't enjoy that. I don't think I'll ever rewatch that movie. It was just like not very good. So yeah, that kind of dipped my excitement a bit, but I know that the main series, like, episodes are quite different than, like, these spin-offs, and it's different people making it, too. Right?
Yeah, different director and everything.
So, I mean, I think this movie's going to be a lot of fun. I think it will be pretty good. One thing, like, Daisy Ridley, one of her mentions is that, like, it's going to take a twist that you won't expect. Actors say that all the time, but I really do hope it takes a twist that we don't expect, because at the end of the day, Force Awakens was very, very similar to
a cover song. I always call it.
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar.
Same
to
song with different vibe. You know.
Yeah. So I really hope it does take some different directions and take some risks. I honestly don't have huge hopes that it will, but either way, I think it'll be a fun movie to watch, and I really like the behind the scenes. It was nice. Yeah,
like for me, I really like the behind the scenes too. I think I'm fine with it until I do episode 9. I guess I still like them. I guess it's just with the Force Awakens, it felt like that felt so special because we hadn't seen anything Star Wars forever. And then when Rogue One happened, we were like, oh, this was cool. I liked this because it was good, but I wasn't overly hyped about it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I think I agree with you. I don't think it's the greatest franchise. Like, I hate to be that fanboy, but I think Marvel's making that case right now with the MCU. Like trilogy's a different thing. Trilogy, you could talk about, like, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, like, even Apes, people feel out there now. But franchise, you gotta remember, the prequels did happen. So that takes it down. It's like a batting average, you know? But I love Force Awakens. With Rogue One, I was a little disappointed by, and with this Han Solo news, my hype has, like, kind of gone a little bit down for Last Jedi, so this, I think, helped. I needed this or a trailer to get me back up there, because lately it's just been, well, I didn't love Rogue One, and there's this controversy, and I really love the director doing Last Jedi. He's did a lot of, like, Breaking Bad episodes and Looper, so, like, the biggest thing that I liked about this, that they talked a lot about, we're going to dive deep into the characters, and I think that's the best thing, because whether you could, like, for you, greatest franchise or not, characters like a Vader or a Luke Skywalker or a Han Solo or a Chewie, that's where it is. The stories, lots of times, can be cookie cutters, where it's like they're trying to stop evil, but it's because, like Han Solo, a character like that, you come back and you really like, and I think that's why people really like myself, really like Force Awakens. Like, I loved Rey, I loved Finn, I loved Kylo, so I think that's the smartest play, is to just focus more on them and focus on what Luke's become.
That's a good point, because, like, I really liked Rey, but upon watching it again, like, character didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Little thin, yeah.
She was quite OP, too, like, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I honestly didn't really like Kylo a whole lot. Famously, I don't really like Darth Vader either.
Yeah. So, not a fan of the... Are you a Darth Maul guy, or is just no...
Darth Maul's badass.
Yeah.
I think Darth Maul's cool. With Darth Vader, like, I know this is going to make people mad, but I just don't think he looks very cool. I don't think he sounds very cool. I think he's just kind of lame.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's not even because of, like, Anakin in the prequels. Like, it's just, like, Darth Vader himself.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Kylo as well, he was okay, but... I don't know. I hope they really do dive into the character a lot more and give me a reason to like him.
Yeah, like for me, I liked a lot of it was in Force Awakens, but with like him in particular, I think the biggest thing to dive into with Luke being back is you gotta dive into what happened there, right? And you gotta dive into how does this kid from like this loving family of like Leia and Han become like this guy who's gonna kill his own dad. You know, like I think there's a good story there. I think Rey be kind of like taking on the mantle. That's a big story there. Don't know what Finn's story is going to be. They say he has a great story. That's the one I'm worried about the most, because it sounds like him and Poe are kind of off on an adventure. I think they're going to do like the fun like space adventure sort of thing. I don't know if that's going to have much depth there. Like they've teased that him and Phasma's going to face off again. And
Phasma's coming back.
She is.
Highly anticipated.
Apparently she's not going to be wearing a mask this time, the rumor is. So
I like the chrome mask.
Oh.
I just didn't like that she wasn't in the movie.
well, one or the other. You kind of like the look.
So.
But yeah, so I think I'm the same thing. I do acknowledge that Force Awakens is kind of like a cover song, but I was fine with it because they're getting us back to it, and I just wanted a Star Wars movie that I could at least watch. And this is underselling it, but I could watch and really like again, where prequels hated them. So Force Awakens, I don't give a pass. I still like it. I could tell you things like Kylo is a different character, and things they do are different. But with Last Jedi, I really want them to take like a different approach. I want it not to feel like, okay, we covered this this beat.
That's the thing. Like, if they really do dive into Kylo and kind of explain what got him to this point, like that would improve the quality of Force Awakens too, right?
Yeah, and same thing with Rey as well. Like, we need to know why. For me, I've always had a problem with the end half of that movie, how powerful she is, and if like that's not explained, we said that even when we reviewed the movie, that Force Awakens could be even better or be taken down a couple notches by how it goes, you know? So,
of course, yeah.
And I guess the long point was my hype was like, I'm still very excited. It's Star Wars, I'm always going to be excited, but it was like a little lower than, it's like regular like 10. I'm always juiced, I'm always hyped.
Always juiced.
Yeah, and I was sitting at like a 9, you know? Or like even an 8. I was like, okay, Last Jedi's coming up. We've had things like Logan come out this year. I'm like, are we going to get to that
I mean,
level?
It's just hard to be as hyped for this movie as Force Awakens, just because Force Awakens was new. It was a reintroduction to Star Wars. So
I hate to say it, I think I would still be at level 10 if Rogue One hadn't come out.
Okay, maybe.
It sounds bad, but I think it's like if I had just had Force Awakens and that and I'm just sitting here waiting. Even though I like some stuff in Rogue One, it just was like, it's that annualized thing of like, okay, I'm getting Star Wars all the time now.
Favorite Star Wars. So.
Favorite Star Wars all the time. Wow. Let's jump over to Disney /Pixar. I want to start with something quick because it's not going to talk about a lot. Hugh Jackman is officially Scar in Lion King, so he is the big bad villain. I'm really happy about that. I think he's a good choice. He's on Broadway a lot, so I bet he can do a lot of stuff with his voice. He can sing the musical numbers that they need.
He is a talented actor. So.
Yeah, he's in the greatest movie of this decade. Yeah, I don't know, I gotta make a list. But best movie of the year.
La La Land?
No, Logan than La La Land, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
for sure. We'll talk about that one day when we're geezers. But no,
geezers.
I think it's a good addition. I think he's gonna make a good villain. And truthfully, I just like that he's in the Disney family now. Maybe we can worm him into a Star Wars movie or like an MCU movie, you know. I don't know if I want him in the MCU movie because there's always, I don't know, might feel it's maybe too soon, but I like Hugh Jackman maybe somewhere in a Star Wars movie.
I don't think he would do another superhero.
No,
I don't think so.
I've always thought that if Marvel got the rights to Wolverine, the cool thing for him to do would be play a Stryker, like the guy that creates and is really mean to Logan, and you can have that back. Yeah, but like I don't think he will either. Right? No. It's just, but Star Wars, you never know. So I'm really happy about it. I think it's a great choice.
I agree.
Because your Lion King is just all right for you.
I don't have much else to say. So.
Aladdin. I don't know. What is your history with Aladdin? Because I think we talked about this a long time ago when we read that Genie rumor camp, but I couldn't remember. Is this something you remember?
All these old, like, classic Disney movies, I have seen them all, but I haven't seen any of them in a really
Disney
long time.
retrospective.
So, honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to that because, like, Lion King, I can't remember the last time I've seen that movie. Like, I honestly don't really remember any of it. Yeah. Like, I know some of the characters, but that's about it. As for Aladdin, once again, I haven't seen it in a really long time, but I guess we got like the three main actors. Yeah. The one girl from Power Rangers. She looks perfect for the role. She does. And, I mean, she was okay in Power Rangers. It's not that good of a movie.
I'm cutting you off. Go back to the review. Nobody. It was you, Tyler, Taylor, and Ruben. Nobody would back me. I'm like, oh, I think she was the best part of me. Everyone's like, yeah, she was fine. She's okay. And I said, she's going to be a massive star. Her career is now going to skyrocket after playing Jasmine. I called it.
Oh, yeah.
Travis told you.
You definitely did call it.
Yeah, I just saw it, you know? I saw
Maybe it's because I just didn't like the movie.
Fair enough.
And it kind of took it all down.
Yeah. Aladdin is a no-name guy, so good for him. You know, big break.
Yeah, have you seen him in anything?
No. This was legitimately when I saw the tweet today of who got cast Aladdin, I had to look it up, and I didn't even look at his filmography. So I think the rumor was purposely they wanted to go with someone not known. They wanted to do like the Ray sort of thing. And I think that's smart. Worked out for them.
I'm down.
And then now Will Smith is officially the genie. I think we talked about that a bit.
Was that rumored? Or
it was rumored, yeah.
Okay.
So it's official now. And I'm still in the camp. I like it. I think he's very charismatic. I think you want to cast someone that the public likes as the genie because then it's not like, oh, fuck this person. He's taking Robin Williams' role. It's like, okay, I like Will Smith. Let's see what he got.
I mean, he's going to take it a different path than Robin Williams did, but I hope it hasn't happened recently, but Will Smith can get like really animated and move around a lot. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually really excited to see what path he takes with it for sure.
I'm wondering.
I don't know how where my hopes are or expectations are for it, but
my expectations are like above average. You know,
Will Smith. He's maybe not been in the greatest movies all the time, but I always liked him.
Oscar-winning Suicide Squad.
I love I Am Legend. Great movie. One of my favorites.
My two things is I wonder if he's going to rap, because he used to rap back in the day. And two, I'm wondering what he's going to look like as the genie. Like, is he going to look like classic, like blue and floating? Or are they going to change it up? Like, I'm wondering what... I'm very interested to see what they do with this genie. Because it's...
I'd like to see a blue tinge to his skin. I think that'd be pretty funky and fresh. Give him a nice hat.
Nice hat, not the genie had a ponytail back in the day, so no ponytail hat. Yeah,
I thought he had a hat. Shows how often I've seen it.
Exactly. Well, something you've probably seen more often. Toy Story. They talk about Toy Story 4. I gotta look up some stuff while you're talking, but they announced that it's coming out. I think 2019. I guess I was wrong on that.
Okay.
I think 2019 or 2018 or something. Like
I didn't even know it was happening.
We talked about this. Yeah, because we get in this debate of like which one's better. 1 or 3, and 3 is clearly the answer, you know. But what do you think about a fourth one coming up? Because if we haven't talked about it, you can talk about it again. And 2,
well, I love Toy Story back in the day, and once again, I haven't seen it in a really long time. I haven't seen the third one.
You've never seen the third one?
No.
Oh,
and I don't even know if I've seen the... I really do gotta rewatch some of these Disney classics, but I finally watched Blade
Blade Runner. I thought you were gonna say Blade.
Blade the Superman.
Yeah, I finally watched it.
Yeah, Blade Runner. I watched that last week.
How'd you think about that?
I liked it. I fell asleep, so I got to watch it again. But
you didn't got to the ending?
I was really tired. I did see the ending.
Okay.
I saw like the first half an hour, and then like the middle 20 minutes, and then the last like 20 minutes.
Blade Runner is a
very
classic.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I will. So if it comes out in 2019, I have time to rewatch them. I have wanted to rewatch them. It's just. I don't know. There's not enough time in the day.
I'm definitely.
If there was an extra 2 hours every day, don't get me wrong. I would watch every Disney movie.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, I'll throw this at you before I go. So the biggest news was at one point it was this guy. Fuck, I can't find it, but it was this guy. I think his name was. I'm gonna look it up. There was a guy that was co-directing with John Lasseter, who's like the big runner of Pixar. He did Toy Story 1 and 2. He didn't do 3, but he's always been like producing or like writing on them, like involved them.
Yeah.
And then he's still gonna be producing this one, but originally it was this new guy, and it was him co-directing, but it's just this new guy solo directing. And this guy, he did one short for Pixar, but that's only, and the guy that did 3, so this is the thing that he dropped out and did 3. He did, so he did Toy Story 2, he did Monsters Inc., he did Finding Nemo. So like he had quite a good resume.
Yeah.
This guy's only done one Pixar short, and that like I'm spoiling what I think, but like made me a little nervous. I'm sure it's gonna be okay because people are still involved with it, but like when he's not really done anything else, I'm kind of a little concerned, you know. And Toy Story. There is Lord of the Rings, there is Star Wars. That might actually be my favorite trilogy. I think I'd give Lord of the Rings like a hair, but it's like a point, like a 10.1. Yeah, 10.1 over a 10 on Toy Story.
Really?
Yeah, the Toy Story trilogy, fantastic. But yeah, any thoughts on a new guy directing this?
I mean, I can't really have much thought. I mean, if I haven't seen him do anything, but I mean, I guess he's at least done some Pixar stuff, and they picked him, so they gotta have some reason.
Josh
to pick him.
Coley is his name.
Josh Coley.
Don't fuck it up, Josh Coley, or I'll hate you forever.
They picked him for a reason.
Yeah.
You know? Clearly, they know that he has potential. So.
Yeah, and I was wrong when I looked at the guy that did Toy Story. Oh no, never mind. So, no, I was completely.
Oh no.
No, I was right the first time.
Completely right.
And yeah, for me, Toy Story, that is, like I said, probably my favorite trilogy title, Lord of the Rings. You've seen the main titles like cast. I have legitimately replica versions of the Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, he's gonna get them, like, these toys cost like $100. You know, like, they're like the life size, like, to the T Toy Story toys that look like
the stand doesn't work very well.
No,
right?
They're supposed to look like what they look like in the movie. I love Toy Story. My daughter right now has a Lotso Hug and Bear that we got from Disney World. I love Toy Story. If I live in a world where there's a bad Toy Story movie, I may have to retire from this cast. I can take a bad Marvel movie. I can take a bad Star Wars movie. I don't know if I can take a bad Toy Story movie. Because they even put out like shorts nowadays, like on DVDs. They're great. They're fantastic. And I legitimately think Woody and Buzz are like the best Disney characters. They're so good, you know?
Cool.
So, speaking of sequels coming up, next year they announced next June Incredibles 2. So, this has been talked about for a while. They showed some footage. We didn't get any of that. So, hopefully in a couple weeks we'll get to see something. I'm trying to think, what is the next...
Was it like a full-on trailer, or was it just like
I think it was clips. They showed like Jack showing more his powers and things like that. So I think it was like splices of stuff. So not like a full-on. This is the plot. But they have said, I'll start with both these things. They said the main character this time is going to be Elastigirl. And it looks like from all signs that there's no time jump. It's starting, luckily for you, which you'll get into, it's starting right when the first one picked up. But go ahead. What do you think about this?
Well, I think it's a good idea to switch it up to Elastigirl as your main character, because why not, right? I mean, obviously the rest of them are still going to be there, but it's going to be a story more about her.
It's a Loki and Elastigirl.
That would suck. I would walk out of the theater. Actually, I guess.
It starts with Underminer killing all their family, and it's just her. Doesn't mean it's like Logan, and it's like, oh, what did I do? Like, why did I let my family come back? And
that would be super dark for Disney.
That'd be great.
That'd be something else. No, I think that's fine, because...
Then killing the family's fine, wow.
Yeah, kill them all.
Kill them all.
But yeah, obviously, like, the rest of them are still going to be there, so... And, I mean, even if she's the main character, like, I feel like they'll all be a pretty equal amount of screen time, even.
Yeah.
It's probably just going to be a story based on her past, or I don't know, something like that. As for the storyline, being right after the first one, I think... I think the Underminer is pretty funny. I can't have much of an opinion on him because he's in it for so little, but I'd be so down if the movie just starts with them messing up Underminer, and then I don't know what will happen from there. Like, you you would think you'd want a time jump for Jack just so he can, I guess, just be a bit older and actually like have some sort of, so we actually like, know what his powers are rather than just being completely wild.
Well, they said a big thing of this movie is going to be finding out his powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
An origin story for Jack.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're not a huge fan of this, but I love The Incredibles. That's like probably my favorite Disney thing behind Monsters Inc. So, or they might, I don't know, one of those two. Either way,
they're in the top 3.
Yeah, easily top 3. So, I mean, I'm just excited to see it. I don't really know where the story will go. I hope it's good though, because like Finding Dory, I watched that recently. I didn't like it.
No, that's why I'm gonna completely take it and go the other route. One with Elastigirl, great. My thing was like, I guess I get what they're saying about her being the main character that's gonna follow her story because like it was like that with Mr. Incredible. So I had to think about that. But I think that's how good that movie was because I actually didn't think of Mr. Incredible as the main character. I thought them all kind of as the main character. When I thought of them, like, okay, it is, and that's what's gonna be like with her. It's his story about him coming back and dealing with this island, and he's on the side. So I get that, but I always felt like they are
like the second half of the movie, or
there's a lot with her and the kids.
Yeah, it feels like a full like team up, whereas the first half you could say is like his story.
Yeah, so that I get. I'm fine. I like Elastigirl. My thing is Elastigirl.
There's no C, I don't think.
There's not?
It's not Elastic Girl. Isn't it just Elastigirl?
Yeah, maybe it is. Either way, I'm excited about that. I am very disappointed. All the signs to me point that it's not going to be a time jump. I think the best way was to do Underminer. That could be your opening credits of them beating him up. I think the story really needed a 10-year jump. I wanted to see them maybe retired. I wanted to see them dealing with their kids being superheroes with Dash and Violet, and then Jack being grown up. I always had an idea of like Jack. I don't think they do because it's like too dark, but I always wanted Jack to be the villain of the movie because he has so many powers, and that's a classic. Like you look at Incredibles, they always take classic superhero tales and they kind of turn them on their head, right? And that's a tale of like a classic superhero tale of like, oh, he was an ally and something happened. You know, I want the scene of them going to see Syndrome 10 years later and he's in his jail cell all crazy. And that's to me where I feel like them starting right off the bat after one that cuts off all that potential. And to me, I feel like it's going to be the exact same movie. And that's why I said in our group chat, I feel like it's going to be Finding Dory for Incredibles. Because Finding Dory to me feels like even worse than like Force Awakens. It's following like a similar, like you can feel what they're following, but it's like, okay, they have new characters and they have like some new plot lines. Where Finding Dory was literally like, we have the exact same characters doing like the exact same thing. Force Awakens like, oh, we got a Kylo, we got a Rey. With Dory, it's like, we have Dory doing this, we have Nemo doing this, we have Marlin doing this. And that's my worry of like, okay, so Elastigirl's gonna be the main plot. She'll probably have some sort of secret that she's doing on her own. The family will come to save her.
Yeah.
They literally said that Mr. Incredible's gonna be the stay-at-home dad, the same way she was in the first one. So it's gonna be about him, like, oh, what am I doing? Like, how do I deal with these kids? Yada yada yada. And I feel like now with them still being kids, the big thing is gonna be them always worrying about their kids being superheroes and if they should or should not do this. And that's why I felt like the end of the second half of Incredibles was, and I love that, but I felt like that was like, we don't want our kids to do this. We don't want them in this life. And then they accepted them into, okay, we're going to be the superhero family team. And I feel like the second one now with not time jump is going to be, hey, I don't know if we should do this. I don't know if we should let them, you know? And I.
So it feels like a storyline that we've already seen.
Yeah, and it's something that's predictable. And same thing with Jack. Okay, cool. We're going to get to see all his powers. We could have saw them all if we jumped 10 years ahead. Like, I feel like it's almost just an excuse to sell cute merchandise of Jack, you know, still as a baby. I didn't want to see him learn the powers. I wanted to see him, even 10, make him 10. Like, make him still a kid or even jump a little bit ahead, 5 years old, something. But just to be a baby, it's kind of like the same thing with Guardians. It's not a big spoiler, but, like, we had Baby Groot. One movie, we're done. The next movie, they even said in the Infinity War, like, teaser footage, she's still teenage Groot. So that's why, like, we had adult, we had baby, we had teenage, and I like that because you see different versions. I don't know if I want to just see baby Jack again, you know? And, okay, it's cute. We'll see him, like, he'll probably, like, scare off a neighbor with his powers, or, like, with that babysitter, right? When she's like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Like, I feel like we're just going to see all the same stuff. And I was really disappointed when I heard it. Like, right when they said, oh, a few seconds before, at first I thought the GeekVerse joke, we've always joked about Undermining has to come back. I'm like, oh, that's funny. But then I'm like, oh, wait a second. This means they're not going to jump. And then Tyler's
I think the Underminer thing for me is because, like, when I was a kid and I saw that movie in theaters, right after it was over, like, I was ready for, like, the next year, for the next Incredibles to come out and for them to, you know,
14 years
beat
later?
up the Underminer. So I think it's like this nostalgic thing in my head that I still want to see Underminer get bombed.
You're gonna. So we'll see. I'm looking I think a great trailer could make me turn around easily, but my vibes. It's funny that you brought that up because I like Finding Dory too, but it was disappointing. That was my worry that this is gonna be Finding Dory. It's like the same thing, just kind of twisted around. Because you look at Dory, instead of Marlin looking for people, it's Dory looking for people. You know, you have your weird fish friends. You have some opposing.
Fish friends.
Yeah, I don't know why they're weird. They're just fish friends. So we'll see. I'm excited. In general, I'll be there opening night. I'm like you. Incredibles is like a top 5 for me. I love it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
There's not a big thing. It was confirmed. They've talked about a bit more. I'll see if I can pull up the cast list while you're talking. But they confirmed 2019 a live action Dumbo movie directed by Tim Burton. First, because I don't think we ever talked about this. What do you think? How are you on Tim Burton? Because we've never reviewed one of his movies, or he's never been on a newscast. Do you like his movies?
What are his movies again?
Edward Scissorhands.
Night Before
He produced that one. What the fuck? Why? Oh my god! Why can't I think of any Tim Burton movies? Oh, the original Batman movies, which I don't think you've actually seen.
Yeah.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
There's definitely some more, and
there's so many iconic ones. There's so many iconic ones. He did Corpse Bride. Hang on, I'm cheating. I'm going right to the IMDb. Give me a pass, folks. Today I am uber tired. And all the old people will know I'm.
First time last year. So.
He did Beetlejuice. Yeah. The original Batman movies. Ed Wood, Corpse Bride. He did the Alice in Wonderland movie.
Right.
He did Big Fish. He did Sleepy Hollow. He did Mars Attacks. He did I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen the original remake for Planet of the Apes?
No.
Oh, watch it one time.
The one that only had one movie?
Really bad. Mark Wahlberg.
Is it good bad though?
Yeah, it is now. Yeah,
bad?
I would be down to do a watch along one time. So Sweeney Todd, if you've seen that. So a lot of big movies.
Yeah, I've seen Sleepy Hollow. I've seen. I watched Edward Scissorhands recently, so I haven't seen a lot of his stuff. Honestly, I don't really have any reason why. It's just kind of one of those things where I haven't seen a lot of these movies and they kind of pass me by. But
well, in that sense, do
you
want
Edward
to see
Scissorhands, Winona Ryder, just great times. So.
She's not in this. Well, in that sense, because it's even older, do you have any recollection of Dumbo?
Dumbo the elephant.
Mm-hmm. But no,
ears.
I mean them, Phil.
No,
okay.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Really?
I mean, I might have when I was a child, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Colin Farrell's going to be in this movie. Ava Green's going to be in this movie. Dan DeVito and Michael Keaton. So Michael Keaton's staying in that Disney family after his Homecoming.
And it's a live action.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be like Jungle Book, where the humans will be real and Dumbo will be...
You would hope. Unless they get the Rock to...
No, or they get a real elephant. They got to teach
real
him to
elephant.
act.
Teach him how to act.
Yeah.
Circus elephants, that's a...
Yeah.
They know how to do tricks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any hype for this movie. Fair enough. It could be a very good movie. I really like Jungle Book, and I never saw the original, so...
Crazy. Yeah, I'm a huge fan, even though I could not list off any of his movies for a second. I'm a huge fan of early Tim Burton, which I couldn't list earlier. But newer Tim Burton, I haven't really been a fan of. I like some of his stuff, but it's been kind of boring. I really, really disliked Alice in Wonderland, the live action one. I was not a fan of that movie, and he's just kind of done movies that are kind of bad to decent. So one, I think it's kind of a strange choice, but obviously Alice in Wonderland was a huge movie for them. They did that. Tim Burton has a big following. He has all the Hot Topic and Spencer's crowd with him, so they got that. And I like Dumbo enough. I think the animated movie is a great movie, actually. I haven't seen it in a while, but I've always enjoyed when I watched it. Not one of the ones that's getting me up in the morning. Today, they didn't have no details, but they said the next princess movie is Mulan. That's something where I'm that interests me.
That's cool.
Yeah, that'd be a great live action movie. Dumbo, I'm okay, I'll maybe see it if it gets great. Oh, no, I'll see it because I'm a big Disney fan, but I'm not man, I'm counting down to 2019.
Still Dumbo.
Yeah, if we're still doing this podcast in 2 years, we're talking about our most anticipated movies for 2019. Dumbo's not going to be on that list.
It could. What if it has an amazing trailer?
It has to be Logan. Just put her anytime.
What if they put Ryan Gosling as Dumbo?
Okay, you got my money, definitely. Not because I love Ryan Gosling, just I want to see that. I want to see what that part takes.
You CGI the elephant's face so it looks a little bit like Ryan Gosling.
Oh God. Let's move on to our last few things. They talked about video games. They had a video game panel.
Oh, yes.
They talked about Battlefront. There's nothing noteworthy. They talked about, I'm going to shut this out quickly because I know you won't have much on it. Kingdom Hearts 3. Mm-hmm. They said that it's rumored to come out sometime in 2018. It was also supposed to come out for the PS3.
It was supposed to come out for the last 7 years.
Yeah. Jessica linked that to me in our group today, and I was like, yeah, like in the year 3000, like them saying 2018 means nothing for me. Like these are the same company that made Final Fantasy 15, and I think that was like in development for 8 years or something. So it's like
classic.
I'll believe it when I can purchase it and like be playing it. So, but the thing tying it back together, they announced that there's gonna be what the fuck?
A star.
They announced that there's going to be a Toy Story world in it, which is very cool because it's all about jumping. You're this character jumping into like different Disney universe. So very excited about that.
I have actually played a little bit.
Right,
I never
over
owned it, but I have played.
We went over your
cool
unfortunate situation with one of the games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go back on our previous cast and listen to that. Then they also did a nice little in-depth look, like a little bit, almost kind of behind the scenes of Spider-Man. A lot of the footage was all the E3 stuff.
It was, yeah.
But the thing that I liked about it was them talking about the story and talking about Peter Parker. Yeah. And the biggest thing was they were like, okay, so he's 23, he's been doing this for 8 years. Right when I heard that, I was like, obviously you would hope that everyone sits down and wants to make a great game, movie, TV show, but sometimes they don't. They're just like, this is Spider-Man. Like, oh, what's the stage is he in his life? They go, oh, he's been doing this for years. He's experienced Spider-Man. Some developers be like, oh, he's just Spider-Man. You know, he's kicking ass. Yeah. You know, like, who knows? The game could come out and we could be super disappointed. I know we're hyped. We both got PlayStations. But it felt like they are talking a lot of care of not only making the game, but the character. Them talking about, like, oh, you won't have to learn this stuff because he's been doing this for 8 years. He's been experienced. He's been a crime fighter. And they talk about that they're using more minor villains this time around, which is fun because you could do more stuff with them. I loved this thing. And at first I wasn't even like, oh, do we need to talk about this? And then when I watched it, I was like, I thought it was like, I liked it. I really liked it. Like, if this would have been at E3 too, I would have really liked it as well. I thought it was really well done, and I thought it got a point across, and that made me even more excited for Spider-Man. I just keep getting more and more excited for this game.
Me too. I didn't really think about it when we saw our first gameplay trailer at the E3 Sony press conference, but I didn't really think about like how Peter Parker would factor into this because as far as I'm aware, every other Spider-Man game you just play as Spider-Man. Like, yeah,
you'll have like a cutscene with Peter Parker. Yeah.
So I'm really curious and excited to see how far they really went with this Peter Parker thing. If you get to play as him and like maybe do some small tasks.
They showed like
Peter
his
Parker.
Bedroom with like maps and stuff on it, like, and they talked a lot about Peter Parker,
like,
not Spider-Man.
How cool would it be if like as Peter Parker, like the photographer, you could go to like this certain like science place where the bad guy is and like take photos of stuff and do some recon. Like, I think that'd be so cool. I'm really excited to see what they do with the story, and it sounds like they're trying to make that a real duality of it's not just like Spider-Man, it's both of them together. And obviously in the movies you can do that, and it's different in the video game because most people want to just play as Spider-Man. Yeah. So I'm really curious to see how they take it. But I thought that display was really cool, even though it was gameplay, the same gameplay. As for I guess they talked a little bit more about the villain.
Mr. Negative. Very minor Spider-Man. I don't even know that much about him. I've not read.
I obviously have no idea who he is from the comics, but I think you make a good point. If they do these smaller characters, then I guess they can kind of take whatever pathway they want with it. And so that's like, I guess, you know, giving the developer that much power it's a good idea. I don't know. I'm really excited for this game.
And like the villains too. It's one if you use minor ones, and if there's some villain that you're like, oh, this villain could be really cool if we change this and this. It's not going to be like, using myself as an example, when you see the picture of Jared Leto's Joker, you're like this is a big change. Like, this is almost too much. Where like a minor villain, you might be like, okay, sure. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not a Mr. Huge Negative fan. Like, I don't.
There is going to be like those like 10 guys who love Mr. Negative, and that's like their favorite villain, and they're like,
his suit is brown. Yeah, and I like that. And the thing is too, if they're really popular, you could see them appear in comic books more. You could see them appear in animated shows, and maybe in movies down the line. Yeah, and like Spider-Man already has like a wide variety of villains. Adding more is even better because they usually do a good job. And I don't think they're saying minor villains. I still think you're gonna get appearances and stuff, because even that E3 demo, one of the main chunks was him talking to Fisk. So I think I think they're saying that, but I think there's gonna be a lot of surprised in this game. I could still see a big villain like behind it all being not a Fisk because they revealed that, but someone like not a Green Goblin, but maybe a Norman Osborn because they already showed like remember that Osborn for mayor thing. Like I think this is gonna be a world really lived in, so I think they're gonna have the minor villains, but have the bigger ones. And my other point was I don't know what's gonna be this game, but if this game's successful and they make a number 2, I could see them killing Peter Parker off. Because they made a point to say his experience, and at E3, the last clip was them showing Miles Morales, who's the like Spider-Man after Peter. So there's a part of me
that'd be a great way to start a new game.
Yeah,
obviously your character starts off with like, you know, having to learn the stuff again.
And especially like unlike you and me and people that are like listening to this, people that are not in the know, if they're playing a fun game of Spider-Man and Spider-Man dies, that's gonna catch them really off guard, and you would be like, well, how are they gonna continue? And that's where it's set up. So for me, right when they said he's been doing this for 8 years, that put off a light bulb, like, and they showed Miles. I think they're setting this up. It could even happen in this game.
That goes back to what we were just saying with the villain. If they take this Miles Morales, obviously he's been in a lot of comics, but they can still...
He's Spider-Man right now in the comics,
Right, so but they can still, like, I guess take that in more directions, whereas people like me, like, I've only ever known Peter Parker.
Yeah.
So I guess there's more of, like, I have, like, more of a concept of what the character should be like.
Yeah.
So if they do go with Miles Morales, then they could definitely, you know, take it their own direction again, like they're doing with the villains. And one thing I was just thinking of too, like how cool would it be if there was like certain events, like maybe, you know, Norman Osborn making some announcement or something, and you can like choose whether you want to go as Peter Parker or as like Spider-Man, and those repercussions of who you choose to go as like impacts the story. Like, man, I'm so excited for what this game could be.
They do that exact same thing in the Batman Telltale. If it goes on sale, you should play it because there's things like, oh, you got to talk to this person. Do you want to go as Batman to intimidate them, or Bruce to find some information? Cool. So yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I think the rumors are who knows? Games get delayed all the time. The rumors are like early next year, so I think it's like maybe March. I'm really hoping because every time I see this game from the combat,
you know, push back God of War and give us Spider-Man.
Like even when they talk like minorly about like the different web combinations and like which like remind me of Homecoming, but it feels like there's a lot of care taken in this game, and I think that's a great thing. It's a bad thing if this game is kind of meh because it's gonna like I think people's hype for this game is so strong that they really have to deliver. Like that's the thing with like the Batman Arkham series. Not that many great superhero games, so when that came out, it took everyone by surprise. Like, this is an amazing Batman game. We live in a post-Arkham world now where we know, oh, we can live in...
It's funny because it's like the Batman trilogy, too.
Yeah, post-Dark Knight world, So, I'm really excited by this game, and I think it was a fun little thing. Oh, I guess this was the other thing I forgot to talk about. This Marvel VR game. It was Marvel Heroes United. What did you think about this? It's just coming to Oculus, it looks like, as of right now.
It's always hard to tell with VR games just because they, like, the advertising, they can't show the game in its full potential.
I didn't like Rocket's little nose, though, when he was shooting people, and he just said, like...
He, like, was holding them up here. I mean, I think they announced that there's 12 different characters you can play as. Captain Marvel, Hulk, and Rocket Raccoon being the 3 only confirmed ones, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It seems like a really basic, more like beat 'em up. You know, you get to punch people as Hulk, kind of more of an experience other than a game. But I mean, obviously, VR is still so new, and that's what you would expect. But I mean, this gets me excited for like what could be in like 2 or 3 years with a Marvel game. So I thought the trailer was funny. It was goofy, and I love how when you're like shooting people and stuff, it's like pow or like destroy like comic book things.
Well, I think that's a smart thing too when they know these games are gonna be kind of basic. Like that's the word to put it, like to make it a little fun like that. And I thought it was fun. You got your classic cheesy VR trailer of like the girls going, like that was a little like a little eye rolling for me. But like I think it's a fun idea. It looked cool. They made a big deal about it on the panel. I'm wondering a price point. I won't be playing because I don't have VR, but I'm wondering a price point. I think if this is something that could be $30 below, that this could be a fun experience and something that, okay, play as Hulk, beat some people up, but I don't even know what VR games go for. Well, lots of them are varied in price because they're all different games, right? So I thought it looked alright, and I'll be interested to hear someone else tell me how it is, but I won't be jumping into it. If this was a...
You know, if I go to my friend's house and my friend somehow has... VR all of a sudden, I'll definitely play.
Yeah, I'm the same thing. If I was at a Best Buy and like, hey, you want to try this demo? But
hey kids, want to try this demo?
Want to get in this van and try this demo? That's
I'm getting that van instantly.
That's how you get Taylor into a van, folks. So, I think that's it. Is there anything else that jumped out you heard today, or anything you want to shout out?
Well, I mean, the only thing that I saw when I was looking up information was the Disney Star Wars park.
Right. Looks great.
It does look great, and
opening 2019 all around.
Yes, and they're gonna have like a full like hotel, like fully immersive hotel. That looks pretty badass. Like, as someone who I just mentioned before, I'm like not a huge Star Wars fan. That looks amazing, and I would love to check that out.
Yeah. I love how you always say this, but I'm looking at it's like a double negative. You say this, but I'm looking right at
it's like
Dylan's
impossible not to have Star Wars paraphernalia in 2017.
I think it's just in the pop culture blood. You know, that is like I think.
Don't get me wrong. There is some really good stuff in Star Wars.
I don't even if you don't think it's like the best. I think it's probably still like the biggest as far as just like.
Oh, it's huge
out there. You know, like generations. So I loved all that. It looks so good. I'm so excited to go down there and like eat at a restaurant cantina. You know, that's only in 2 years.
You could record an episode of Cantina Conversations.
I know, that's our hope in 2 years. We can.
But then you'd have to go with Taylor.
We can. I don't. He can send my baggage in there, but I hope in 2 years we can take like a group trip out there and just like howl around. Yeah, and the other thing they announced I think they're making an Avengers and a Spider-Man ride as well. So all great stuff. Disney just continues to make more and more money, and I love it.
Must be nice.
Yeah,
must be nice.
One day
they should hire us. You know, Disney GeekVerse. I'd be so down for that.
We'll sell out.
Get a movie.
Well, apparently we've already.
I'd sell it instantly.
Oh yeah,
I'd be gone.
Oh god. Yeah, I guess that's it. Did you want to play the role Taylor and tell them where they can find us?
Sure, but I'm not going to take 5 minutes to do it.
Go ahead, don't.
Yeah, you can find us on the internet, on the interwebs.
In the search bar.
In the search bar. That's the actual tagline. I couldn't think of it for some reason.
It's on a t-shirt, actually, too.
Go to Facebook however you want, whatever means necessary. Just type in GeekVerse Podcast. That's how you're going to find us on everything except for Twitter. So, yeah.
If you go to Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we probably have a Twitter link somewhere up there.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, on Twitter, we're GeekVerse Cast, but everywhere else, we're GeekVerse Podcast.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to find us.
Right, yeah.
You know, Twitch and SoundCloud and YouTube. And check us out on Patreon. I don't know what's up there new, but there's always some stuff.
Well, what we do have, and what I can plug, is next week, we got a huge week. We've got Comic-Con coming up, so we're going to be covering all the panels. We're not sure exactly when. I'm going to put up the schedule, I think, next week, but we're going to try and do them like... I think the Fox panel is Thursday, which is X-Men. So either maybe we'll try and do that before we see Dunkirk and then review Dunkirk, or we might review Dunkirk and then do it right after. So we'll do it at some point. We'll be doing them the days that they happen, but we'll post a time whenever we know. But I know the weekend ones we'll be able to figure out. Friday will just be Friday night, and Saturday we got Marvel and DC. So. Big day, but on Patreon, go there, support us there, throw some pocket change. You can get our 2 specials right now. Dynamic Duo has a special. We did a superhero draft, which was lots of fun. Those are up there only for $1 amount. So and then Dunkirk. So if you have any interest in Christopher Nolan or war movies, or just hearing us talk about hopefully a great movie, people are saying good things. I'm very excited. So,
and if you want to hear more of our Disney stuff, we did a review of Spider-Man. We've done a review for every Marvel movie in the last 2 years. The 2 Star Wars movies, and even we did commentary tracks for all the Star Wars movies. We have a lot of Disney content out there if you want to listen to more of our Disney opinions.
We're gonna be doing those commentary tracks in December. You are gonna have to watch Rogue One again though.
Ah, shit.
But it's going to be more fun. We're allowed to talk this time.
You know, at least I get to see Mads on the screen.
Yeah, that's a good time. That's always good. And check out, I shouted out before, but the Apes review. If you just seen Apes, check it out.
Me and Taylor's first duo cast, so something new to check out. It's pretty fun.
I've only listened to the first 5-10 minutes because I was in Explorers, but best 5-10 minutes I've ever heard in my life. You know?
Hear that? That's the GeekVerse guarantee right there.
Thank you very much. We'll be back next week. Comic-Con, huge weekend. I got a prediction show for Superhero News Round. I'm going to talk a little bit lots of stuff. If you're a comic book fan, you want to subscribe because we're gonna be we're gonna be going hardcore. I don't know why I said hardcore. I feel like some weird skateboard
epic hardcore.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll be back next week and it will not be boring. Thank you very much for tuning in.
GeekVerse out.